Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, I'm back. I've been on a whole week journey doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, obviously some of you guys saw I was at the UFC fight, which was an incredible time. Before that, I went to speak at a school right outside of Austin, a private Christian school. Then I went to the University of Texas at Austin to speak on campus to do a Change My Mind little booth session. It was absolutely great, way better than UC Davis. I don't know what kind of crack they smoking at UC Davis to have the kids so deranged, but it's definitely different than the University of Texas. Then I went on to the UFC fight with my dad, and I want you guys to know, and firsthand, because I was there, it's not something I read in a book. It's not something I saw on television, and I'm just reporting on it. I was physically there sitting right behind Donald Trump. When I say right behind, I was a couple rows back, but directly behind Donald Trump when all of this stuff went down. And I will tell you that Donald Trump shut the place down when he came in like a rock star. And it was really cool to see also Elon Musk came with his son, which is inspiring as a father. I don't care what you think about Elon and him, you know, planting seeds everywhere he go. But to see him with his son, taking him and exposing him to things that he go through, traveling in first class, and I mean, not first class, private, excuse me, on the Air Force One and all that other stuff, I think was absolutely incredible. I met a bunch of really cool people. The fighters were good. Shout out to Dana White and the UFC, because every time I go, it's such a tremendous experience. Now, I will say this, it didn't come without controversy. All right, it did not come without controversy. Dave Portnoy had a huge problem with one of the fighters. I forget the fighter's name, but he had a huge problem with one of the fighters who said something about Hitler. I did not know Dave Portnoy was a Jew. And so Dave Portnoy, underneath his cap that you can see there, he had a yarmulke on, and he had a Israeli flag that he was flying, booing one of the fighters, which was controversial in and of itself. And then also there was a little bit of controversy because Shaquille O'Neal shook Donald Trump's hand and people got mad at him. And y'all know what people I'm talking about. Not the patriotic Americans, but you know, the people of the melanin somehow is mad at Shaquille O'Neal for just shaking the hand of the president of the United States of America. We'll get to that here in a second. Also, some of y'all may not know, my dad came with me, and y'all had to show up, right? I had to just show my daddy, like, Trump is a good dude. And my dad had a chance to see it with his own eyes. The way people treat Trump, the way it was when he came into the building. They had an opportunity, my dad, to see how Trump was interacting with all kinds of people, black, white, you name it, gay, straight. Donald Trump is just a people's person. And all of that bull shenanigans that you see on the media is untrue, unreliable. It's not real. It's made up. So what happens? I say, look, Dad, let's go meet Trump. You know, let's go say what's up to him. I'm telling you, he's a cool dude, whatever the case may be. And I think my dad was understanding it and seeing it real time. And I think personally it influenced the way he think about Trump. I'm just saying. So roll the clips, because some people don't believe me, but this is me, my dad, Dana, obviously, because Secret Service was blocking the thing. And I'm like, I done met Trump 100 times, not 100. I met Trump several times before. Dana and I are cool. So let me y'all just get out the way. Let me through here. So Dana had to let me in because they weren't gonna let me in with Secret Service. But this is the video of when I saw Trump, and then I'm gonna tell you what I said to Trump after the video. Roll it. Oh, there's no audio. Play audio. Look, he did the handshake with my dad. So it's no audio, but I could just tell you guys after the video what exactly was said. So we took a picture, me and my dad. I actually had a chance to meet RFK as well. He was there. Tulsi Gabbard, I shook her hand. Marco Rubio, I shook his hand. That's me shaking Marco Rubio's hand right there. He was super cool, man. All these people, you know, Trump got a pretty good cabinet. And also, big shout out to Sean Taylor. I wore my Sean Taylor shirt to show a little bit of love and respect for Sean Taylor, who's probably the greatest player to play at the University of Miami. And then me and my dad left. You know, my dad got a chance to meet some of the politicians, Republicans as well. But anyway, I'll tell you what I said to Donald Trump when I met him. Because I had met him a few times. I don't know if he knew who I was or not. He acted like he knew who I was, which he probably knew. I don't know. He got a great memory. But I just told him, man, I appreciate you. Well, first of all, I introduced my dad. My dad retired, or he's getting ready to retire here soon, officially, I think next month or 2 months from now. 40 years of service as a firefighter. He's retiring as a chief from Killer Fire Department. And I told Trump, hey, my dad, 40 years retired, man. He's a great guy, whatever. So he talked to my dad. But I told Trump, I said, man, look, we appreciate everything that you're doing. We support you. We're praying for you. And we got your back. Keep up the good fight. And I know that everybody in America, if they had an opportunity to talk to Trump, they would say the same thing. So I said it for y'all. I had a chance to talk to him. I say, man, we're supporting you. We got your back. Keep pushing. I wanted to talk to him a little longer, but, you know, I wanted to just make it quick. Elon Musk was there as well. I didn't really say much to Elon Musk because he had his kid there, man. I was like, man, this dude, he doing his thing. I want him to be able to hang out with his kid and not have people running up to him and bugging the crap out of him. I'll see that man at some other time in my life. But anyway, also controversy from the news. Let's play the Dave Portnoy interview on CNN. Was it CNN? Yeah, on CNN. And of course they want to make Trump look bad, but they picked the wrong person to interview. Roll the clip.
Just in case you're not well acquainted with my next guest, Dave Portnoy is the founder and owner of Barstool Sports, a wildly successful media company with a particular appeal to young men, a demographic that helped Donald Trump win back the White House. Barstool Sports has nearly 50 million followers on TikTok, publishes some of the most popular podcasts in the country. Now, Portnoy's followers get a steady stream of sports content, financial advice, pizza reviews, and unfiltered and some say offensive conversations. In recent days, he has gone viral for comments about tariffs imposed by President Trump, whom Portnoy supports. Dave Portnoy joins me now. Thank you so much for being here.
Hold on a second.
You have been...
Hold on a second. They say a lot of this stuff. What is Dave Portnoy's net worth? I wanna pull that up real quick. What is Dave Portnoy's net worth? Because I think it's invaluable to not only talk about how Barstool Sports is wildly popular. Not only you talk about Dave Portnoy's commentary and it's geared towards men and all of that other stuff. You need to be saying, how rich is this guy too? Because that is a big deal for him to be as rich and support Donald Trump. He's worth $100 million. And that's just on record. I mean, normally somebody's net worth could be a little higher, a little bit less. I don't know. It depends on how they calculate his net worth. Many people that are over 100 million or so, they actually worth a lot more. They're just the assets that people understand and know of, or they could be looking at the valuation from Barstool Sports and no other investments that Dave Portnoy has. He's worth at least 100 million. Now put that through your psyche. You got the richest man in the world supporting Donald Trump. He's probably one of the richest men in the world on paper. I'm sure these Saudi princes are worth trillions of dollars that's not recorded. I'm sure, what's his name from Russia, he probably worth trillions of dollars, and this stuff is not on record, right? I'm talking about the people that have a recorded net worth. Richest man in the world, the top few richest people in the United States of America, period, all are supporting Donald Trump. And then Dave Portnoy worth $100 million. This is what he has to say. Wrote a clip.
Openly questioning the president's tariff strategy. I want our viewers to see and hear what you said on Monday.
I went super viral when I said I lost $7 million. I'd kill to be back to losing $7 million. I haven't even looked. If I had to guess, I'm down in these last 3 days, probably close to 20. I don't know, like 10, 15% of my net worth, poof. But I'm still here. That's the game. That's what I'm in. Like, do I like it? No. Am I crying? Am I like, oh, woe is me. I wish I voted for Kamala. No. Do I wish this didn't go down like this? Yes.
Now, you obviously voted for President Trump. You also said that you think he's a smart guy. You are willing to give him a couple of days or even a couple of weeks. Where are you now?
So it's uncomfortable. Anytime a stock market is like this and you're invested in it, it's certainly uncomfortable. But I stand with it. He ran on tariffs. He said he was a tariff fan. And I don't pretend to be an economist. I don't think I realized that we'd have this market crash. I don't think most people did. But I think he believes in what he's doing and trying to basically strong arm China and get better deals for the U.S. I'm willing to still give him time. I think the big date is the midterms, which is a long time out. But I do think that in this country, the number one issue, no matter what is going on, is the economy. And if the stock market doesn't show some signs of rebound or rebounding by then, I think people speak with their vote. So, but I'm still... He was pretty straightforward that I'm tariffs. I don't like China. I'm going to do all this stuff. He's doing what he ran on. So to turn around just because we've had 3 or 4 bad days in the stock market, super uncomfortable. My bigger thing at this point is let's not pretend it's not a major issue. Like it is. And you can't separate. I don't think I saw the Treasury Secretary Bassett today, like separating Main Street and Wall Street.
Yes, he did.
They're pretty connected. Yeah, they're pretty connected in my book. So I don't know if he's just talking about the super fat cats, but if the stock market's tanking, we are going to have an economic meltdown over the long term. So I'm still going to give him time. He said, I think Trump said, it was a sick patient. He needed to take medicine. I'm taking my medicine, and I don't like my medicine, but I'm willing to take it. I voted for him, and in a way, it's disingenuous now to be like, hey, what are you doing with these tariffs? Because he did make it pretty clear he was a tariff guy.
He did. No question about it. There's being a tariff guy and then doing it the way he is doing it, proceeding the way he is proceeding. You comfortable with that, too? Not just the policy, but the process through which he is.
Why are these people so disingenuous? God is my witness. This wouldn't be a conversation that they would have if Joe Biden was doing the same thing. Joe Biden rolled over tariffs that Donald Trump had imposed when he was president the first time, and nobody said anything. We never heard the word tariff. And now Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to impose tariffs for a strategic advantage. He's doing it. It's going to have, it's like, stop already. It's going to have some issues. People ain't going to like it. Tariffs can be very volatile for the market. But my goodness, do you want your country to survive or not? We're going to take a little hit over the head a little bit. And then we're going to recover. That's just what's going to happen. It happens all the time. Dave Portnoy understands it. He said, yeah, it doesn't look good to lose $20 million in 30. Some of y'all ain't losing nothing anyway. You ain't even investing. Some of y'all ain't even investing anyway. You got people on here tomorrow. The stock market. Are you in the stock market? No, you don't have no investments. You don't have nothing in the stock market for retirement. You don't have no mutual fund. You have nothing invested. Nothing. And they the main ones are here crying about the stock market. You don't care about the economy, bro. You're not involved in the economy. You ain't built nothing. You don't really got you living on government assistance. What are you talking about? But for those that care, we do understand that there has been ebbs and flows in the market all the time. When there's a war, when World Trade Center happened, like, you know, there's things that happen in the market, and it's just the way it is. But CNN can't give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. They try to get people that like Trump to turn against Trump, and that's what this interview is all about. Roll the clip.
Is imposing this policy?
I certainly wish he would give maybe a victory here or there right now. Like, he has the power really to turn the stock market and get it ripping. And when there's been a fake rumor or a misquote, like he's going to postpone the tariffs or whatever, if he would come out and say, hey, we did this great agreement with Japan or Vietnam, the stock market would rip. I firmly believe that. Instead, what do you say? Everyone's kissing his ass last night. Mm-hmm. But that's right. Trump. Like, that is how he speaks, and it does resonate in a way to people. Like, I'd almost rather feel like I'm getting straight talking, and I can't change. It's like, that's always who he's been. Do I wish maybe he was treating our friends a little nicer, our allies, and things like that? Yeah, because I'm in the stock market. But at the same time, this is who I voted for, and time is going to bear it out. He's playing an extremely high-risk game of poker. And if it turns out great, it'll be a great move and one of the great things that he's done. If not, I think the voters will speak at midterms. There is a long time, Dave, between now and the midterms.
I want to call her a H word. I want to call her a H word. Just looking at the smugness on her face. But I'm a Christian, and the Lord knows I want to be a good man. Like, you sorry, you fill in the blank. The smugness of these people is insane to me. It's almost as if she's cheering and she's excitable about the fact that potentially Trump could fail, which means that we all fail. She's excitable about it. Well, the midterms are a long way away. And then shut up with your sorry self. You hope to God we all crash and burn because y'all don't like Trump. When that old hag was in there, that limping around the White House, dead to the world, y'all didn't say sugar, honey, iced tea. Y'all didn't say none of that. Y'all said none of it. Roll it.
About how quickly things have changed just even the past couple of weeks with the economy. You're okay. You can just stomach this until, if it continues where it is, until the midterms?
If we drop 5% every day from here to the midterms, no, I can't stomach that. Nobody's going to stomach that. If this flattens out and we don't have gigantic drops and it doesn't keep dropping to that effect, yes, I can handle that for a long time. If it every day we're going through crazy, I thought today would be worse than it was because today was the deadline and the market is unpredictable. So if we've bottomed out or gotten close to bottom out, yeah, I can live with that. I can live with that proposition. And again, do I love everything? Like, did I love that he was on the golf course, when the stock market was tanking? No, but if he could sit around and say, you know what? Like, he's almost in a box where if he can't show weakness in these negotiations. So you can't just run now that the market is bad, because then all of this would have been for nothing. So I'm hoping his art of the deal comes to fruition. But no, if you're asking me, can I wait a year and a half with the stock market tanking 5% every day or 4% or 3%? No, I don't think anybody can.
Thank you. Dave Portnoy for saying that. Because I think he's just being honest and real. That's the conversations we should have. You know, when I go onto campus and I have these conversations with people, they're like, what do you think about the stock market? What do you think about it? They're like, first of all, I'm gonna give you my opinion because I'm not God. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm more optimistic than I am not, right? I'm not gonna sit here and hope to God that he fails or have a false belief that he's gonna fail unequivocally with no real evidence. I think it's very evident that his tactical strategy could work very well. I don't think that Donald Trump want to tank the economy. I don't think that none of the billionaires that support him want him to tank the economy either. So I think that when you got all these rich people on his side, I think the advice that Trump is getting is pretty solid advice. And I think that what's going to happen, and it always happens when Trump does it, he does something, people get all open arms about it. They're very upset about it. They try to go on the news and make everybody hate Trump before the midterms. And then it turns out to be incredibly good for the American people. And the stock market soars and it breaks records and the Dow is up, the most it's ever been up in one day. And all of those things. But for you people that are out here acting like because the stock market dropped that somehow the end of the world is coming, this is when you need to put more money in there. Just add a little more money while it's low. You know, if you get in there now. If you got some little money to spare, put some more money in the market. Because what happens is at some point, you can look at the last 50, 60 years, at some point it's going to go up. And the market has beat inflation and has been, I don't know, average of 10% year over year on your money. And if you were in the tech world, you like a 1,200%. Some people right now who've been in the stock market can lose 5% every day for a while and still be on top. Let me move on. Shaquille O'Neal. I'm going to talk about Shaquille O'Neal real quick because I actually spoke to Shaquille at the event. Me and Shaquille been kind of conversing and cool on social media for a little bit. But I respect Shaquille O'Neal way more than people think. And let me tell you why I respect Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is not just a basketball player. Shaquille O'Neal is a realist. Like, he's a real dude. Pause it real quick. He's a real dude. Like, he's honest about his mistakes. He's honest about his shortcomings. I remember one time when it came to his divorce, the reason why I like Shaquille so much, because when he was on the podcast, he didn't simp out and act like all these other people that normally act and try to blame the woman. He said, I was messing up, I was cutting up, I did it wrong, she was a great woman. When I hear a man talk like that, I get a little more respect for them, because you can easily, as a celebrity, say, nah, you know what, she wasn't taking care of me, she didn't love me, she wasn't there for me, that's why I stepped out. No, he said, look, I was wrong. I was wrong with what I did. And then to watch the philanthropic things that Shaquille O'Neal has done in the community year over year over year. I actually like Shaquille for his business acumen and his philanthropic stuff that he does more than when he was a basketball player. I mean, Shaquille was cold at basketball. We all know that. But I was young when Shaquille was killing it. But watching Shaquille now, watching him talk about how he give mothers, single mothers, when he's at the grocery store, he pay their he did something for a family that I know. They got like 12 kids, 13 kids. He bought them a minivan. Like, Shaquille does so much for the black community, and this is specifically the black community, than anybody else that I can speak of. And this is the backlash that he's gotten because he dared, while at the event, when the president of the United States of America is there, to just shake his hand. And I know how Shaquille O'Neal feels about this because I talked to him at the event before and after this happened. Now I'm gonna leave that conversation to me and him, but I know exactly how he feel about it. And people were dragging Shaquille for shaking the president's hand. Let's roll that clip from the beginning, just so y'all can see. This is the whole interaction with Shaquille O'Neal. He walked up to him, shook his hand, they shook hands. That's it. That's it. That's all that happened. The man is the president. Shaquille O'Neal is the biggest man in the arena. They see each other, man respecting another man. Shake his hand, say a couple words. To the president of the United States, that's it. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't like, look at a picture of Trump, you know, and all this other stuff. He wasn't all up his butt. Shaquille was doing his thing. Trump was doing his thing. Two respectable men mutually had a handshake. But for all you losers out there that have posted online, Shaq a sellout, Shaq a coon, bro. How you even say nothing to Shaq? I mean, how you even say nothing to Trump, bro? Trump is a racist, bro. He got the border, bro. Illegal aliens, bro. They doing all this crazy stuff. Look at all this stuff that Shaq, I printed out on a piece of paper. All this stuff that Shaq be doing. Now, all you melanated people, the Negroes amongst us that had the nerve to criticize my boy Shaq, let's go down the list of some of the stuff he's done, and let me see if your resume match up to this one. He paid for the funeral of black families in need, including George Floyd's family, Sicaria Turner's family. Covered tuition and expenses for underprivileged black youth, often doing it anonymously. Donated to families affected by violence and tragedy, especially in urban communities. Support the Boys and Girls Club of America, where he spent much of his childhood. Let's go down to education. Well, we already know what he done is his education, but where's the other part of it? Being a prominent black figure in mainstream media, we know that. The mentorship, mentor young black athletes both in and off the NBA court. Regularly visit inner city schools, churches, and youth programs. Built effective housing in Newark. Helped struggling black communities gain access to stable living. And you can keep going down the list, man. He mentioned how many times he's gone to the grocery store and just given single mom. He's still single mom and pay for their whole groceries. Like I said, he did that van for that family. They got like 12 kids. He bought them a minivan to cover all those kids. They got 12 of them or more. They probably almost at 20 right now. I remember it was way back in the day. There was a young boy. I forget what reason. Shaquille O'Neal bought the boy some shoes. Told him, hey, go to this shoe shop because mama couldn't afford his shoes. Bought him some shoes. Shaquille O'Neal would take his shirt off his back to help other people. His restaurant that he just put it right in the hood, employing black people or whatever. I forget the chicken restaurant. All this stuff that Shaq be doing. And people mad at him because he shook the hand of the president of the United States of America. And let's keep it 100. They wouldn't be mad at him if he shook Obama's hand, but Obama didn't do nothing for black people. He wouldn't be mad if he gave Kamala Harris a big old hug and picked her up like this. She did not a mother freaking thing for black people. Not one thing. You can't name it. You can't name a proposal for her to do something for black people. I can go down the list of stuff Donald Trump has done for black people. Now, next time you speak on Shaquille O'Neal, make sure you got your facts right, because half y'all ain't done nothing. Live around nothing but white people, ain't done nothing for black people, ain't planning on doing nothing for black people. The Al Sharptons of the world that want to boycott Target for 24 hours, but you forget, dummy, that there's black businesses that got their business in Target. Do you know how stupid that is? Black people got products in Target too. So why are black people boycotting Target and boycotting black-owned businesses in Target? Hey, dummy, how about you boycott Target except for the black products? But you dumb Negroes won't buy black people's stuff anyway. So that's why you don't mind saying, we're just going to boycott these companies. You go to a Target in the inner city, there's nothing but black people working at the Target. But y'all stupid. What's his name? Pastor Jamal Bryan and all these clowns. Y'all some clowns, bro. Y'all straight up clowns. The smarter thing would do, if you really want to help black people, say, let's buy only black products. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Everybody, think of how much more benefit would you have to black people in the black community and black businesses, one versus the other. Let's examine. The first one is that we're going to boycott and not spend any money in Target, including the black businesses, for 24 hours, which is nothing. People didn't already bought their stuff. Ain't nobody going to the store every day. Then let's do the alternative. Let's focus on only buying black products for the rest of the month. Bro, that's 12,000% of revenue increase amongst black businesses. If you go to a Target, go to the Target in the black community and sponsor that Target. I don't believe that people should do that. But they don't care about black people. That's why they'll never do that. Why? Because Al Sharpton and Jamal Brown, they don't shop at Target anyway. They're not buying black people products anyway. They're not sending their kids to HBCU anyway. They're not doing it. Their attorneys are white. Their business partners are white. Some of the biggest donors to their funds and churches and all this are white people. They don't mean that they saying. Where they house at? White people. Cutting their grass, Mexicans. They don't have black people cutting their grass. They had no black people doing their lawn. They had no black people doing their taxes. They lying to y'all. So before you say something crazy about a black man that's doing something in the community because he shook Donald Trump's hand, you better think twice. All right, let's get to Karmelo Anthony. I've been waiting to talk about this all day. So the Karmelo Anthony situation comes up. They reduced his bond amount from $1 million to $250,000. Let me say this, some of y'all gonna be mad at me, but I just gotta be honest. I'm just giving you my honest take. I thought $1 million was pretty high to start with. Now, as a family of your child that's been murdered, $1 million ain't enough. But when it comes to the way they prosecute certain crimes, $1 million was pretty high for a person that doesn't seem to have the propensity for violence outside of a one-to-one engagement. Which means if this person was doing a drive-by shooting, a gang initiation thing, or he was doing something where he was attacking innocent people, he could be a danger to the public outside of this incident. So you will have his bond amount be an extremely high bond amount. But I think what happened is they defaulted to a bond amount without evaluating the circumstances, situations. When they evaluated, the reduction of the bond amount seems to be reasonable. But to $250,000, I don't know if that's reasonable. But the reduction from $1 million seems to be inevitable and reasonable based on the crime that was committed. If it was more heinous, which means that he shot somebody to death and stood over him, had no remorse, he tried to hide, he was fleeing the scene, they had to go on a manhunt for him, he didn't admit to it, he's now saying, like all of that will cause your bond amount to be crazy high. Because you show no remorse and you could be a danger to be let out in the public. But since this is a mutual combative situation, not mutual in the use of force, but mutually combative situation, which is a one-off, there's no anticipation that he's going to flee. Like all of those things that are contributing factors. But let me just tell you this. The only reason why, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about this, and I believe because it's racism on display from the black community. I'm just saying. Is there white people that are racistly, biasly supporting Metcalf? Yes. But the majority of the conflict and the racial dynamic is on the side of the melanated people. Why do you say that? Because this was not a mutually combative situation. This was a kid bringing a knife to an event and stabbing another kid in the heart in a disproportionate use of force. The kid had tried to throw the knife and run. He admitted that he did it. There was no instance whatsoever of a self-defense claim. You can make the claim, but I don't know if a grand jury or if a jury will give instructions that are favorable to a self-defense claim. I don't think the self-defense claim is relevant whatsoever. And a lot of black people know it's not. However, these white folks ain't finna do something against a black kid. Even a black kid wrong. They gonna raise money. They gonna show the white people that they gonna support this black kid no matter what. That's what it is. Black kids kill black kids every single day, stabbing them, shooting them, choking them, pushing them off stuff. They doing it every day of the week, and not one GoFundMe is afoot. Nobody's talking about it. There's no T-shirts. Nobody's talking about it in the media. It's when a black kid kills a white kid and he deserved to go to prison. But black people don't want that because he killed a white kid, which shows you, in my opinion, that deep down inside, a lot of your black friends hate you. And it's only going to come up to the surface when one of these instances happen. If it's a black and a white thing, you're going to know if your black friends really like you or not. And I think it could be vice versa too. But I think it's more on the black side than the white side from my personal experience. All right, let's roll this clip.
Within the past hour, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony has been released from the Collin County Jail after posting bond. A judge reduced his bond this morning from $1 million to $250,000. He's facing a murder charge after police say he stabbed another teenager Austin Metcalf while at a track meet at a Frisco high school. Stephen Dial is in McKinney with more. Stephen.
Karmelo Anthony left the Collin County Jail in a suit but had nothing to say to the reporters before he got into that vehicle. The district court judge says that she looked at all the factors in this case, him not having a criminal history, and that led to her making her decision to reduce his bond. 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony was silent after bonding out of the Collin County Jail and being placed on house arrest.
How is this self-defense?
2 days after the family of Austin Metcalf buried their son, they were at the Collin County Courthouse for a bond reduction hearing Monday. Karmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Metcalf at a Frisco track meet earlier this month. The case has quickly become national news, drawing a lot of attention, resulting in threats and increased security at the courthouse.
Threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously, the Anthony family. It's not good for the Metcalf family.
Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but we did capture the Anthony family arriving. His father, Andrew, testified in the hearing. District Court Judge Angela Tucker said that she's never gotten this volume of calls and had to have this level of security in the courtroom in her 13 years on the bench. Court documents say Anthony stabbed Metcalf during a fight. When an officer arrived, court documents say Anthony told the officer, "I was protecting myself." Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis spoke after the hearing.
The judge has made the call, and so what's important is what's next. And it's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
Anthony's father testified he's taking a leave from work because of the incident, and his wife is a stay-at-home mother with 3 other children. During the hearing, the prosecution brought up the fact that more than $400,000 have been raised for the Anthony family, saying a reduction is not needed because they have the funds. A big question in this case will be, why did Anthony bring a weapon to a high school stadium? It's a question that was asked of his attorney.
That's an understandable question, but it's not something that, frankly, we're prepared to even go into.
Because there's
Now,
no
in
answer
the opening statement to the media from that interview that you just heard, he led with talking about self-defense. Again, the court documents mention self-defense. We'll have to wait and see how that defense will be made in court when things pan out. Now, according to the judge, the terms of the bond are house arrest and ankle monitor. She told him to stay off social media, and he has to personally call her bailiff every Friday morning, not his parents, but him. And there's a list of other things that is set, and if he violates that, he'll return to the Collin County Jail.
All right, Stephen Dial live for us. Thank you, Stephen.
Now, let me explain something to you guys. I know many of you know this, but sometimes we have to be reminded. A person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So I know it sounds weird, but this is the reason why people can actually bond out. Even though he admitted to it, technically he's innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, let me explain why. Because if there was an actual self-defense claim, then he could actually be innocent of committing the crime which he was charged for. Now, unless they completely lie and there's some evidence that nobody else talk about, there's no way he's going to have a self-defense claim. And I'm explaining it again for anybody who missed it. In order to have a self-defense claim, you can't antagonize or instigate an incident and then claim self-defense, meaning that the kid was under somebody else's tent, verbally asked to leave, not physically asked to leave, nobody touched him, nobody did anything. He was verbally asked to leave, which is a reasonable request for somebody to ask a person to get from under their tent when they're not on that team. But then he says, as he reaches in his bag, according to the police report, that touch me and see what happens. Now, he's not afraid for his life, right? Because he could walk away. Just like when he stabbed the person, he ran away. So it doesn't appear that he's afraid for his life because he's sitting there taunting and suggesting a physical engagement with somebody, right? It's like, come on, touch me and see what happens. He's inviting conflict. And he knows, this is why they charged him with first-degree murder, because he knows he has a knife and he knows that he's going to stab him with a knife as soon as they touch him. Not hit him, not assault him, not jump him, not pull a knife on him or pull a gun on him. If they simply touch him, He's going to use deadly force against somebody to kill them. Now, whether you intend to kill a person or not is irrelevant because you're utilizing deadly force against another person. So when you say, touch me and see what happens, that's where they develop premeditation, meaning that he knew he had the knife. He concealed the knife, so they didn't know he had the knife, but he knew and premeditated, when they touch me, I'm going to stab them. No matter what force is being used, I'm going to stab them. And then they said they touched him, and he said, well, hit me, and I'm going to stab you. The same scenario. He could walk away, but he didn't, because he knew that if they touched him or did anything, he wanted to stab and kill whoever was in his way. And that's exactly what he ended up doing. Now, the proportionality of force. First of all, self-defense can't be initiated. You can't initiate a conflict and then claim self-defense. Second, the use of a deadly weapon has to be proportional, meaning that if I just grab your T-shirt and say, man, move out the way, and you shoot me to death, that's disproportionality of use of force. Because a person that used deadly force have to have evidence that a reasonable person would believe that person feared serious bodily injury. A black eye is not serious bodily injury. A busted lip is not serious bodily injury. They have to fear serious bodily injury and or death, meaning that he believed that they were going to kill him, or he believed they were going to use a deadly weapon against him. So he overcame that force with deadly force. But when you say a person has touched you and you're going to use deadly force against them, it's disproportional. If you say hit me and the person never hit him, he was never punched, he was never physically assaulted with a strike, with any instrument or fist or anything. According to the police report, they shoved him, pushed him out of the tent. That's not deadly force. Pushing somebody does not necessitate deadly force. Pushing somebody is a hard argument to say, I feared that I was going to receive serious bodily injury or even be killed because the person asked me to get out the tent, I refused, and then he pushed me and I thought he was going to kill me. So I stabbed him in the heart. Premeditated. This wasn't a scuffle. Well, I can get my bag. I got to get my knife. I'm losing a fight. That would be heat of passion. That could be manslaughter. That could be second-degree murder. But when you got the knife in there and you're ready you're instigating and encouraging a conflict to know you're going to use deadly force, is why I think that the young man got an uphill battle to climb. That's why I said he's going to do a plea deal. Because when you guys ever look at the court of law, there's a thing called jury instructions. And this will kill you if the jury instructions from the judge, for instance, he will have the jury evaluate deadly force, that the force has to be in combatant of a deadly weapon or the fear of serious bodily injury or death. Here are examples of this. Here is other case law that the prosecution can present of situations where a person is using deadly force justifiably. And the situations are incredibly extreme, which will not meet anywhere near where Karmelo Anthony is at. And therefore the jury have no reason, no way to give him any self-defense claim. So they're going to do a plea deal. I think they should do a plea deal. But the arrogance and all this support from the black community may cause them to want to take it to trial. Because all they need is one juror to go, I don't want to prosecute him because he's black. Hung jury. They're not going to get a case. They'll drop the case, drop the charges. That may be what he's fighting for. But I honestly believe, I don't care if you're black, white, green, or orange, you take a deadly weapon to an event, because a deadly weapon, a gun, is no different than a knife. It's no different than a knife or a gun. They're both deadly weapons according to the law. You're bringing a deadly weapon to an event. To do what with it? To defend yourself from who? You instigated the incident where you went under somebody's tent and refused to leave after a reasonable request. You initiated a conflict by encouraging somebody to touch you and see what happens. They had no intent to touch him. They just asked him to move. He said, touch me. He said, hit me. So he can do what? So he can kill somebody for hitting him or touching him like he requested. All right, I think I said enough, but I'll tell you what. I think it's crazy that they're raising $400,000 for this kid when they won't raise $400,000 for a black kid that's a victim of a crime. But because he killed a white boy, black people are jumping on the bandwagon to support. And they're getting all these conspiracy theories of saying, well, why didn't they just let him stay under the tent? They don't have to. They don't have to. Now, if a white kid went up on the black tent and they told him to leave and a white boy stabbed and killed a black kid, our God is my witness, nobody would be supporting that white kid. But only colored people of the melanin will support a person who committed a crime and killed another person. It's insane to me. All right, let's go to Angel Reese, which is another black person. Now, this has not got anything to do with black or white because Angel Reese shares the sentiment of every idiot that is playing women's basketball at this current moment. If you think that you should get paid the same money as LeBron James, probably the greatest, most prolific basketball player to ever put on shoes. When I say prolific, I mean his stats. When I say great, I mean Michael Jordan is better. And I think Kobe was better. And then it's LeBron. However, when you talk about stats, there ain't nobody close to LeBron when it comes to statistical accomplishments outside of championships. But this man has been playing he could play for 40 years in the NBA, which no player ever would. So this guy is the worst comparison that you can make Angel Reese because you ain't even the best in the WNBA. Michael, you can't even play point. So how you going to compare yourself to LeBron James when you only play big man position? You can't run point. You can't run a two. You can't dunk. You're not a great shooter. You really ain't bodying people like that. You're not as athletic as I thought you were when I watched your highlights. But let me let you hear what she had to say and let me shut up. Roll the clip.
What more would you want to see for women's sports?
Us getting paid our worth.
Period.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're doing exactly what LeBron is doing. So, what's going on?
Sis,
I don't
they ain't
like
got
that.
the money for us just yet. But it's coming. It's coming.
Is it? I don't understand it.
It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. But it's coming. Trust me, it's coming.
I believe you.
It's coming.
I believe you.
It's definitely coming.
It is, and it coming through other ways. You're positive about it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Because you said something about it. You was
yeah,
like,
I did say something.
It was popping your shit.
I was saying, but I
period.
speak for a majority because I know my platform, and like not a lot of people in the WNBA have the same platform. I know my voice is heard.
Speaking up.
Until I know my voice, negative or positive, like the feedback that I get is heard. Like people gonna hear what I got to say. So I speak. I'm unapologetically. I'm gonna speak on like what's for the majority, like the women. Even if it's not me right now, like the players, the best players, they deserve the money. So I'm gonna speak for them, and that's what we deserve. Period.
Does she really think she gonna get paid like LeBron? I don't even know if I need to say more about this. LeBron James and Angel Reese are in two different hemispheres, galaxies. If women think they should get paid the same as men, let's put an all-star female team and let them compare themselves to all the top men that they think they should be getting paid like. I mean, you can pick anybody. You don't even have to pick people that start. You can pick people that's riding the bench. You can pick rookies. Pick any player you think you should be making more money than. And let's set up the basketball game where those men play against you. And if they don't beat y'all by at least 60, you get to make the same amount of money they make. Bro, I don't think that the women will score a basket other than being fouled and having to go to the line to make a free throw. I don't think women will score a single basket against men in basketball. I've seen men beat men by 50, 60 points in basketball. I have seen college basketball teams beat other teams by 40 points. And women ain't even close to being as tall, fast, physical. They can't even dunk. None of them can dunk. Have you seen men play basketball? Okay. Let's go to the clip. Y'all don't listen to me. Angel Reese think that she should get paid the same money as LeBron. She probably should get paid the same money as the person who cutting LeBron's toenails, but she not getting paid the same money as LeBron James. Roll the film.
Jason Terry, good defense.
Hold on, time out. And LeBron like 6'8", like 270. He's 6'8". Angel Reese like 6'2". Rolling.
To the way. Chalmers. Oh. Whoa.
Now it looked like he jumped out of the mezzanine to dunk this ball.
Hooks it away. James up and under, throws it off the backboard. Oh, what a perfect pass to himself.
And how about this play by LeBron James? Great recognition, great awareness, and tremendous God-given.
We shoot 38% from downtown. Here comes LBJ!
Hold on, time out. That dude that's under the rim is probably like 7-something. And he got the mean mug. Angel, do you watch basketball? Roll the clip.
Their feet, that's what they came to see. If nothing else happens, they're happy now.
16 seconds left. LeBron drives in. Oh my! A ferocious slam at Millsap. Did you see LeBron? He jumped right out of the building. He looked like.
Shot clock is down to 5. Nice fake by James. Oh, he stuffs! LeBron James puts it down in the face.
Okay. And LeBron James went to the NBA out of high school. Angel Reese, you played cotton. LeBron was in high school when he went to the NBA. I mean, he was out of high school. LeBron probably could have went to the NBA as a junior in high school. LeBron James could have played in the NFL today. Angel Reese. Do we got clips of Angel Reese? Let's juxtapose that to Angel Reese. Is this her lowlights or highlights? We doing her a disservice. We should have got our highlights. But play her lowlights anyway. LeBron James lowlights in high school is still better than these. Roll the clip.
Wings.com to learn more.
Let's see.
Beautiful dish inside. No, Suarez can't come up with it.
And Reese breaking up that pass. Kennedy Carter feeds Angel Reese. Can't finish.
The rock, because this is my time.
Enrique's got 18. Off the glass, no. Reese the rebound. Maddie Seeger's got a piece of it.
This is her third game back from that shoulder injury. And good defense inside by Maisha Hines-Allen there on Reese.
Reese got the second attempt. Gonna try for a third one, blocked by Dolson. As Allen couldn't get it to go.
NEARS Sabali comes in. Here's Reese at the elbow. Trying to go through multiple defenders. Sabali hauls it down.
Mabry time to add to it. Got Allen on the move. On the kick to Reese. She comes middle. Does not go. Fighting for the rebounds.
10 turnovers for this guy here tonight. Elizabeth Williams, Angel Reese. First opportunity not there.
Going to come alive in the second half. Indiana's loss.
Look how she threw that layup up there.
6 from 3 in the game.
She ain't looking at the goal.
You're more used to be on the floor is probably what she said.
Reese can't get it.
All right, y'all. I swear, God is my witness. That looked like my son middle school game. Kids throwing the ball up, I ain't even looking at it. I ain't looking at it. They looking this way, throw the ball that way. Angel Reese can't why do y'all want men to be mean to y'all? Women, can you stay in y'all place? Why do you want men to be mean to you? Like, just admit that you're not as good at basketball as men. God made us this way, woman. Why y'all tripping? Just focus on, are you making more than the other woman that you better than? Quit acting like y'all competing with men. You can't. It's just the way life is. We don't have children. You do. So we can't compete with y'all on that. There's some things y'all can do. We can't do. This thing we can do. Y'all can't do. Come on. Just stop being stupid. Lady, you doing layups like this. You talking about LeBron James. LeBron James will score 600 points against you. And you won't score a single point. You won't even probably get the ball in your hand. LeBron James will rebound it and score on you back to back to back to back to back. Angel Reese is worse than I thought she was. Just looking at her lowlights, you can see her lack of athleticism. You can still miss a ball and it be graceful because you got skill. You doing a layup. You know, Steph Curry don't make every shot he make. LeBron don't make every shot he make. But you can tell he's a great athlete while missing a shot. But Angel Reese, y'all stop. Y'all league is not even making money. Your league is in a deficit. So y'all should shut up about money until your league is profitable. It doesn't have to be, you can have debt, but are you guys cash flowing? Y'all not even cash flowing, bro. Y'all being subsidized by the NBA. Lower the rim like Shaquille O'Neal said, and maybe y'all start dunking and dress with some scandalous stuff on, and maybe people start watching you. I'm just being honest. Nobody want to see dudes out there that want to be girls. Girls that want to be dudes. Nobody watching that. They ain't got nothing to do with me because I'm a Christian. I got a woman. I don't need to watch these women. They can't do nothing for me. But I'm telling you how you want to make some money. They had some booty shorts on like girls do in volleyball. Y'all probably make some money. Lower that basketball goal, y'all dunking at each other. Maybe if y'all wouldn't be coming out looking butchy and start looking like cute girls, y'all get more people watching. That's why people watch Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese was a part of it. People start watching women's basketball because a couple of them came out look like real women. Some of them fine. Okay, I'm just telling you, don't get mad at me. And I can go down the list of these stats. I'm not going to go down the list of the stats, but I mean, just LeBron's stats is just insanely better than hers. And his stats against real competition. He's not playing against other girls. I can't wait for the first transgender. And I'm gonna tell you, I can't wait for the first transgender to go to the NBA, WNBA. They're gonna be eating these girls alive, and I'm gonna buy his jersey too. What did he say? Stephanie Curry. Stephanie Curry out there just hitting 5-pointers on y'all. They're gonna start making them points worth 5. Booming, breaking girl leg, 46,000 points in the season. Just running through them women. Anyway, I want to talk about Bill Maher real quick. I'm running out of time. Bill Maher finally went to the White House to see Donald Trump. This is an old story, but I just had to give my commentary because I was out of town when it all unfolded. But when people meet Trump, when they see Trump and they're in his presence, they change the way they think of Trump. I bet my dad changed the way he thought of Trump. I changed the way I thought of Trump when I saw him in 2016, 2015 at the rally in Tucson. Bill Maher changed the way he thought about Trump. When you see him in person, you realize that the stuff that they're saying is bullcrap. That dude is just a regular man that's trying to do what's right for the country. He's actually an old man. He's a grandpa. Donald Trump is somebody's grandpa. He acts like a grandpa. He's laid back and chill and loving and kind and generous like a grandpa. He may do business like a dog, but the way he carries himself is like a chill dude. I've met him a couple times, so I'm not making this up because somebody told me. I seen him in person. I just met him 2 days. I just talked to him 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever, on Saturday. Now, let Bill Maher tell his story. Roll the clip.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute. So, thank you. So, just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. And I thank you for them. No. But, okay, example. In the Oval Office, he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know the best thing about him? His hair. I said, well, there was also that whole bringing down communism thing, waiting for the button next to the Diet Coke button to get pushed and I go through the trap door. But no, he laughed, he got it. I said to him at one point, Mr. President, you know the dog, that's unusual in the White House. He said, well, a lot of the presidents, they had a dog for political reasons. I said, no, people love dogs, that's what that is. Oh yeah, okay, that's true. I'm telling you what happened. At one point, we were walking through his amazing tour of the whole house. And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election, because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look,
No.
I get it.
Hold on. Bill, I respect what you're saying. Don't say he's much more than he lets on in public. No, they lie and they cut stuff and they paint him like he's not like that in public. Donald Trump is always like that in public. What happens is they ask him some stupid question and lie about him, and then they only record his response after he'd been answering questions for them for like 3 hours straight. He's sick of it. And they take that and they say, look, this is who Donald Trump is. When E. Jean Carroll and them I think they completely lied on him, say he's guilty of all this stuff and his bull crap, and day after day after day after day of dealing with bull crap, when he know he hadn't done nothing wrong but run for president, he gets frustrated and they say that, oh, that's him. That's not him. That's you guys poking the bear, and then when he responds, you act like he's an evil dictator. Roll the clip.
It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track, like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine. There were so many moments when I hit him with a joke or contradicted something, and no problem. At dinner, he was asking me about the nuclear situation in Iran in a very genuine, hey, I think you're a smart guy, I want your opinion sort of way. And I said, well, obviously you're privy to things about it I'm not, but for what it's worth, I thought the Obama deal was worth letting play out because we made Iran destroy 98% of the uranium, and they were 15 years away from a bomb. And then I said to him, but we got rid of that. You got rid of that. He didn't get mad or call me a left-wing lunatic. He took it in. I told him I thought parts of his plan for Gaza were wacky, but that I had supported him in the idea that Gaza could be Dubai instead of hell. I told him he was wrong when he tweeted the night before that I was critical of all things Trump. Not true. Check the tapes. Moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem, loved it. The border did need to be controlled. I'm glad the cops are getting their morale back. DEI had gone too far. Biological men shouldn't be playing women's sports. Europe should pay for their defense. And of course, it makes sense that Arab countries should take in Arab refugees, like the million Syrians who wound up in Germany when Saudi Arabia took none. He said to me, you're right, they took none. I said, well, you should remind your boyfriend in Saudi Arabia that the next time you see him. He laughed. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. Me, I feel it's emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days. He was even okay when I checked him on the orangutan lawsuit.
I don't know if y'all remember what happened between Trump and him, is that he had made mention of something like Trump was kin to an orangutan, and Trump sued him for $5 million. Because I think it was like a DNA test or something, and Trump like did it or something that he wasn't associated with an orangutan. And Trump sued him for $5 million. That's so petty, but he did it. But then, of course, it was dropped or whatever. It never went anywhere. I wrote a clip.
He was. He said to Dana White, you know, Bill said my father was an orangutan, and I really love my father. And I said, well, Mr. President, I did that because I didn't like what you were doing regarding Obama's birth origins. I thought that was low. Again, no anger, just a little smile, as if to say, yeah, I get it.
Oh, now Bill Maher is on the Trump train. I mean, I'm not saying he's on the train, but at least he headed in the right direction. Because to be honest, Trump isn't the bad boogeyman like they make him out to be. He's a genuine guy. I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't go golfing with him or know him like that. But every time I see him, he seems to be reasonable. Every time I've seen him in the flesh, meaning that he's at events or, you know, physically talking to him, I mean, he's not a weirdo, man. Like, some of these politicians are weirdos, bro. You talk to them and they're like actors, right? You talk to them and they're like, hey, how are you doing? It's great to meet you. This is great. Great to see you. Great opportunities, isn't it? It's beautiful here. You're like, damn, bro. You like, did you rehearse these exact words you say to me? Like, why does your voice sound like that? You campaigning to me. I just say hi to you. I don't even. Why are you talking like that? And you see Donald Trump, and he just talks to you like a regular person. Oh, great job. Oh, good job. Keep up the good work, man. Your father looked great. You look great. You know, he took my dad and shook his hand like this. I mean, you could tell it's genuine, though. You know, Shaquille O'Neal was genuine when I met him. Trump, genuine. Dana White, genuine. Joe Rogan, genuine. And I didn't get a chance to meet him. I just shook his hand at one of the events and said what's up to him. I met Patrick Bet-David, genuine. Gary Brecker, genuine. He seems very genuine. I didn't meet Portnoy at the event because I just didn't say nothing to him. I didn't get to meet Elon, even though Elon was next to Trump. I didn't want to bother Elon. He's probably awkward publicly anyway. But who else did I meet that was like a celebrity? Chris Rock. I mean, what's his name? Jerry Brecker? No, Rock. Chris Rock? No. Dwayne The Rock. Kid Rock. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Kid Rock, I met him. He was cool. I met a whole bunch of other people, man. I've over the years, I've met a lot of people, and some people cool. Some people ain't what you think they are, man. Tulsi Gabbard seemed very nice. She was with her husband. She was very nice. I think she knew who I was. Marco Rubio was super cool, man. He dapped me up like this. I was like, oh, Marco Rubio got a little swag. I see you, Marco. Marco Rubio was cool. I've met what's his name before? Ted Cruz before. In person, I like Ted Cruz more than I like him on TV. Like, in person, he's a chill dude. These are dudes that you'll go have a beer with and just talk about all kind of stuff. Ted Cruz seemed a little more polished, like a politician more than the other guys, but he was a very cool guy. How much time do I got? Let's see. Dang, this is the one I should have been talking about. This is a big story. Let's go. I'm going to finish it off with this, and we'll get the other ones tomorrow. Let's talk about Donald Trump meeting with the El Salvadorian president, because I thought that was insane, right? So Donald Trump just came from the UFC fight where I was at that ended at 3 a.m. East Coast. So Donald Trump went to sleep at 3 or 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and then got up and did this right here. Roll the clip.
Mr. President, it's an honor to have you doing incredibly for your country, and we appreciate working with you because you want to stop crime, and so do we. I want to thank you for the great job you're doing.
I'm really happy to be here, honored.
any here to help. We're a small country, but if we can help, we do it. We just have had a great relationship, and then I want to just say hello to the people of El Salvador and say they have one hell of a president.
They have one prison. Did he say personal prison, bro? Go replay it. He said one hell of a president. I thought he said a prison. I said, God dang, Trump. It was one heck of a prison. All right, he said president, so he didn't just completely go full Trump mode. So let's go to some of the clips where the news media was trying to, recreate a conflict between some person that was deported from the United States of America who was illegally in our country, who was an MS-13 gang member, associated with the gang. Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump was correct. The lower court said he wasn't. The Supreme Court said he was. I don't know why they still talking about this whatsoever, but they didn't get the response that they thought they were going to get when you put two men in a room that legitimately care about their countries and not social media bullcrap. Roll the clip.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the man who your administration says was mistakenly deported? The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Well, let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs, if they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him?
And you are doing a great job. Thank you.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
The smartest dude with the biggest brain in the room is that dude Miller that's like right here. That dude is like an encyclopedia on steroids in a human brain. He's like ChatGPT in a human. I swear, Donald Trump is going to ask him to respond to something. This dude is on television. He's crazy. And explaining stuff and getting into the weeds, and he can go back in history and he can go to every appellate judge decision and all this stuff. I think Trump gonna go to him in a minute, but listen to what the response is after what Pam Bundy said. Roll it.
Just also respond to that question because, it's asked by CNN and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also?
Yes,
Look.
Gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As two immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan to ask for him to get it back?
And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
in our favor.
In our favor, against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual at El Salvador's sole discretion was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
Hold on for a second. Don't that make you feel like if you were like, ChatGPT, what argument do I have for this question that was asked me by fake news CNN? And the voice will come out like Stephen Miller's voice. That's exactly what he would say. He literally went through the process more thoroughly than Pam Bundy and explained exactly the rule, how it was overturned, how it's El Salvadorian discretion to send him back. And even if El Salvador send him back, we can send him back to El Salvador. Like, it's no scenario. What I like what he said, no scenario that leads this man back into America. Now listen to the El Salvadorian president. This is why he's so successful. We need strong men like this all over the world, and we won't have a problem. We'll be living in utopia. Roll the clip.
What is can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to have suggested that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States. How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
I'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Mark, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin, except for Venezuela that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President, no, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, Mr. President, you said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago. And they said that it must be facilitated.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have no credibility.
Trump just don't give a. I love that about Trump too. I think sometimes he get a little petty, but I do like the fact that Trump is willing to stand up against these clown shows that just simply compel arguments that are negative. It just have a negative slant to everything they say. Like they're talking about returning a MS-13 gang member back to the United States of America, or even asking the El Salvadorian president to release the gang member into his country. The person is an MS-13 gang member. What are we even talking about right now? Why do we just go to the next question? Why are they advocating? Because what they will say is that a man that was falsely sent to El Salvador, the president of the United States, with all authority, said that wasn't true. He was already, by every account in court proceedings and findings, that he was a part of a terrorist organization. And then the El Salvadorian president, where he's at currently, believes he's a terrorist, and they're not releasing him. What are y'all still asking? Okay. All right, let's go to the next. I got to get a haircut. All right, love you guys. We'll talk about the Nutty Professor tomorrow, and this umbrella analogy that I thought was the greatest analogy of how men function in society and protection of women. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I love you guys. I appreciate you. If we can get the super chats real quick, I could do the super chats, and I got to go get my hair cut because I look like a caveman. All right. Let's get them at the top and let's go. All right, this is the top. Good. That means that nobody's watching this thing, but I love y'all anyway. Let's go to Mambo. It says whites need to step up. Stop letting this BS slide. I agree. WNBA players lack basic understanding of economics, to say the least. Angel is living off Caitlin Clark and simping on IG 1,000%. I mean, 3 super chats and they all were great. All right, God bless you. Love you guys. If you want to go to Talladega, I got a little commercial about Talladega. If you're still interested, you're running out of time, you got to buy flights and everything to get there if you're interested in participating. If you don't want to go to Talladega with me, you can also support us by buying one of our Talladega shirts, or you can get your name on the car for a $200 donation to what we're doing, or you can say a sponsorship gift to what we're doing, okay? I love you guys. I see those of you who already are scheduled to go to Talladega with me. I'll see you in Talladega, but I love you guys. I'll see y'all, the rest of y'all tomorrow. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the